All right, everybody. This is Unscripted with Chris Featherstone. This is episode 3. This is the third week that we've done Unscripted. It's been fun. It's been super duper fun every single week. We continue to bring the heavy hitters on the Unscripted show every single week. So without further ado, this person definitely is nowhere near letting us down as far as the heavy hitters is concerned. So this person is the greatest cruiserweight champion of all time. I don't care what anybody says. He is the greatest cruiserweight champion of all time. No one can stop him. No one can beat him. Check the facts. Check the statistics. He is the man. He is Shane Hurricane Helms. How are you tonight, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I appreciate that intro.
Absolutely, man. So as we continue, we're got a lot of people loading up here. So how's life, man? How the last time? See, this is a different field. So this is Sports Kita's Unscripted. So last time you were on my show, Pancakes and Power Slams. I think that was like 2016, and I'll never forget it. I've said this on my show a bunch of times. You said something to me on the phone before we got on the show that night. We were talking on the phone. And you said, "You know what? I don't know. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. I was like at 200 and something shows probably. And you were like, you know what, man, I really applaud you for doing this because you had a podcast that was seasonal. And you said, man, I applaud you for continuing to do it all year round. And you know what? That was motivating. Years later, that actually was something I never forgot. And it motivated me to keep going. So now my show is like 433 straight episodes. So.
Oh, man. Good job, man. Congratulations, man. Keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Because it's hard, man, because I brought Highway to Helms back and keeping that weekly show out. You know, I'll miss a weekend. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
It's harder than people realize.
Yeah, you know what? And you told me that same thing. I was like, you know what? And I've said this on my show a few times. Like, man, he gets it. You know what I mean? Because it's not just simply just what you see. There's so much preparation beforehand. You know what I mean, to get people on the show, to the production, to make sure it's not sloppy and all that stuff. It really takes a lot, man. So I was
I ain't even got an excuse no more because now I do it with just myself. That's my whole thing is I no guest needed on Highway to Helms now, and I'll wait till the last day. I know I need it out on by a certain day because of sponsors, and I'll wait till the last minute, man. Sometimes, not all the time. If I'm feeling good, they're easy to crank out.
Yeah,
but you know, just like your morning DJs, you know, you never think about them. Are they having a bad day? Because you know, every morning on your way to work, hey, it's 5 a.m. and you're here with Bob. Hey, where's the traffic and all that kind of shit? You know, you know, so it's hard to keep that energy up. You know, just on command like that sometimes.
It is. It really is. And see, the thing is, you got Highway to Helms. Look, I am. You are a top level. Legendary, you are a cruiserweight legend, but you're a pro wrestling legend. You don't need any guests, Shane. Like I'm just a journalist. You know, who am I? You know, like I
see what it was is I just realized how unreliable pro wrestlers are.
That's true.
I know firsthand what a headache we can be. So
yeah, well, I mean, the good thing is over the years I've developed a good enough portfolio to be a trusted source of people coming on my show. So and people like you who just went on a limb and said, yeah, I'll come on the show years ago. You know, you trust.
But what about this time though? When you text me and say, hey man, we still good for so and so, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's like, what?
and then he's like, yeah, we talked about it. Dude, to this day I don't remember the conversation.
Wow.
But I was like, you screenshotted the thing, but I had looked through my phone record and said, what's this guy talking about? And there was your number. And we had some minutes, so apparently there was a conversation had. So I was just like, all right. I don't know what I agreed to, but all right.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, wait a minute, I just talked to you last week.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'm not yet. And the whole thing was, I wasn't trying to come off like I thought you were lying. I was like, no, I believe you.
Yeah.
I just don't remember. Like that shit happens to me. I would, you know, if you catch me in a good mood, man, that's kind of been. And it's helped me in my career a lot, but there's been a couple of times when it hurt. But you catch me in a good mood, I'll just say yeah to any damn thing.
Like, got you.
You know, so
Yeah. So let the listeners know, man. You said that you back in the podcast business, high water Helms, no guests needed. I'm sure that you talk about sponsors already, man. So that's fantastic. Let the listeners know about your podcast.
Yeah, when I first started in 2010, Highway to Helms was a lot of fun, and we probably talked about it on the last time. So I don't want to rehash some of the same material, but the pressures of the podcast game got to me. So I would do it seasonal, and then I stopped doing it. But then I jumped in on when Keeping It 100 came out. When Chris Jericho helped Conan relaunch the Keeping It 100 podcast. I was on like the first 100 episodes, 100 plus. Me, Conan, and the Disco Inferno, and it just seemed like week after week I was getting tweets and emails like, why don't you just bring Highway to Helms back? Because I was only on Keeping It 100 for a short little segment. I was having fun then because I didn't have to do no work. They did all the work. Just call me whenever you need me, that sort of thing. But then as I don't know, just people kept talking to me. I was like, you know what? Let me just do mine by myself, because there was things I wanted to talk about more in depth that maybe the guys on Keeping It 100 didn't, and I wanted to devote a segment strictly to comic books. Yeah. Because because that's another love of mine.
Nice.
And that's what I did. I just started coming back, and actually today, episode 55. Since I started back, so it's about 2 years I've been doing Highway to Helms, and with Fight TV actually about 5 weeks in now. Fight TV. I'm working on a podcast called Primetime with Hurricane Helms, and that drops every Thursday night.
Nice.
Where we kind of review AEW Wednesday night against NXT, and we started throwing a little Impact Wrestling in there too, because I'm trying to show Impact some love, because they've actually had a pretty good product for the past couple months, especially during all this, the COVID era where wrestling just ain't what it used to be. I mean, it's just how it is. But Impact's actually been putting on a pretty fun show. So
nice.
That's just it, just sitting at home, and I had a studio anyway, so might as well use it.
Before we get to the questions, man, I must say I absolutely love that shirt.
I appreciate it, man. Good story behind the shirt too. This shirt is from Cincy Shirts on Twitter at CINCY, like Cincinnati, but
okay.
Cincy Shirts.
I'm in Columbus.
So what happened is during one of the Black Lives Matters protests, there were some looters. Not the protesters, looters, and I think it's important to always mention that. Yes. Just because it happened during that time, I think there's a lot of people with an agenda that they love the protesters and the looters together. That wasn't the case, but there were some, and this was one of the stores, a T-shirt store that was owned, or at least co-owned, by a comedian friend of mine named Josh Sneed. Josh Sneed, S-N-E-E-D, very funny guy. And so anyway, the store got ransacked and damaged, but they didn't blame the Black Lives Matter movement whatsoever. They designed this shirt where proceeds go to rebuilding the store and proceeds go to some other kind of charity thing. And I really like the story behind the shirt, and I like the shirt anyway. Yeah. But when you put that kind of powerful story behind it, I just had to buy it. So
yeah. I love it. It's a fantastic looking shirt, man. All right, let's jump right into these questions. We got Mike asking, we got a bunch. Mike asking, do you feel WWE is helping or hurting Jeff Hardy with his current storyline? That's a good question.
I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I don't know if you can really hurt Jeff at this point. Jeff's kind of untouchable. Jeff's always going to be Jeff Hardy, and I think fans are always going to love him. The storyline don't really do a lot for me, though. I don't think it endears me. I don't think it's going to bring in new fans. And if you don't know about any of the problems Jeff's had in the past, like if you're a new fan, you don't know about it, a storyline like this just kind of shines a flashlight on it. And I don't really see a purpose of that. So not crazy about it, but I love Jeff Hardy, so I got to support it.
Yeah, y'all go
support him anyway.
Yeah, y'all go back to Omega. What year was that? 93, 4?
Oh no. Omega came a little bit later, because I met Jeff, I think, in 96, 97.
Okay.
And so they had an organization called New Frontier.
Okay.
And then it was kind of winding down, and then that's when Omega came to be about.
Got it. And don't tell me, Joey Abs of the Mean Street Posse was in Omega too, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice. What's he doing nowadays?
I don't think he does anything whatsoever in the pro wrestling world. I know his family owned like a towing company, auto shop repair, stuff like that. I've seen him a couple of times. I mean, he's doing good in life, so once he was done with the business, he was done. So
he's cold turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that you say no guests needed, but it'll be cool to, do some throwback talk with Joey Abs. You and Joey go back to some Omega days, man. That would be pretty cool. So
yeah, he was a good dude, man. He was the guy because he had the size and the athleticism, and it was still a big man business back then, even though cruiserweights were doing their thing in WCW a little bit. But he was the guy that we all thought would make it before all of us. Yeah, Venom. He was Venom in Omega. He was the guy that he's gonna make it all the way.
Yeah, he definitely had a look, that's for sure. Matthew's asking, who came up with the idea for the Men of 3H's comment during the Impact Tag Team deletion with Matt Hardy?
I'm guessing that was Matt because I don't remember having anything to do with that.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't. I know I did. I helped with my parts, but Matt that was his baby. So
yeah. How do you feel Trevor Lee, aka Cameron Grimes, has been handled in NXT?
That's a very unique speech pattern he's picked up with Cameron Grimes.
Yeah,
but I enjoy it. It's growing on me, and as far as his physical talents, he's as good as anybody right now, and he's just going to get better and better. He's really, really good, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. So we'll see how far he can take this Cameron Grimes character right now. But I think they handling pretty well. It's going pretty slow, and which. Sometimes it's okay, when they bring a guy in and he wins a title in his first 2 months, it's not really. I think fans get tired of those characters pretty fast.
Yeah.
But you got a guy who's slow and steady. I kind of like that storytelling as well.
Yeah. He's picked up some big wins too, man. He's beat Finn Balor, Prentice Martinez, Damian Priest.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Do you think a gimmick like the Hurricane will work today?
If it was me doing it, yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably even more so if it hadn't been done before. Any superhero now is going to get compared to me. And is that fair? I don't know, but especially if it had never been done, if you look at the popularity of superhero movies in Hollywood, which are the most dominant genre in Hollywood right now and have been for 15 years. I think it would do exceptionally well. But it would have to have the right. If it wasn't me, it'd have to have the right person that could pull it off. A character like that, you got to be completely committed to it, and you got to put your heart into it. And you got to be a decent actor. I just watched because on Twitter somebody just put up a promo of me, and who was it? God, it was Perry Saturn. And I just critiqued it myself because it was in the early stages of the Hurricane. I didn't even have the mask yet. I had the makeup.
Oh, nice.
And even in that verbiage, the verbiage was good, but my delivery, I wasn't quite there yet with my confidence level on where I got toward the end with the Hurricane, with the way I would talk and the crazy inflections with certain words and stuff like that. But But to answer your question, it could work, but it had to be the right person. You can't put a gimmick like that on just anybody.
Perfect segue to the inflections. What was the first time you remember saying, "What's up with that?" What was the first time you remember saying that?
I think I just say it here and there, just kind of start rambling off on here. What's up with that? Just it's kind of a Southern saying. I don't know if it's actually even just Southern. I think people say, "What's up with that?" all the time, But just the way I said it, I don't know why I said it like that. A lot of stuff with that Hurricane character was trial and error. When I started talking, in the superhero voice, I'd never heard a superhero talk like that. You never heard Superman, Batman, or Spider-Man, or any of the cartoons. Yeah. There was no superhero that talked like how I chose to talk as the Hurricane. It was just, that reminds me of the time. I have no idea why I was doing that shit, But I would kind of listen to the camera guys and the lighting guys and stuff like that. When they would laugh, to me, that was always a good tip because they seen it all. And these are guys behind the scenes that you, the audience, and people at home watching, they never seen these guys and they don't know, but they've seen it all. They've been there with Rock, Austin, and keep in mind the roster that was there at the time, which was the most stacked roster that's ever existed. Absolutely. And there'll never be another roster like that. It's just, there's no way. But, you know, if I can make those guys laugh, if I can make that room laugh, you know, that would tell me something. So a lot of that stuff was just trial and error. Nice. Like the first time I said, I didn't even say stand back the first time. I said, excuse me, there's a hurricane coming through in a backstage segment with Kurt Angle, and Shane McMahon started laughing. He thought that was funny. That's why I kept that. If he didn't laugh, I might not even have kept that shit. And then Vince added the stand back and, you know, just little pieces here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the first wrestler you remember saying, what's up with that too on a promo?
No.
Yeah, it's interesting how, like you said, just little freak accidents, you know what I mean? Just, you know, kind of trial and error like that happen. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and it would go from what's up with that, and then next thing you know, I'd have the face. Yeah. And when I got the mask, you know, that's what the hurricane lips, what people call MySpace lips or duck lips now. When I was doing this back in 2001, before MySpace and before the duck lips, the reason I was doing it was because this part of my face was covered. So all you could see was this. So I had to really accentuate this, you know, and that's where the hurricane lips come from. Nice. And so then it became, you know, what's up with that? Yeah. And just do the lips. Nice. So now when I do them, I get accused of having duck lips, and I got heat with that because they don't know.
What's up with that?
What is up with that?
Lenora saying there are reports about WWE getting back recent release and furloughed employees. Any chance that we see you working again with the company? Have there been any talks?
I mean, I'm still in touch with them, you know, pretty much on a weekly basis. But until live events start back, you know, and until honestly, until this whole COVID thing is well under control, I'm not opposed to staying at home whatsoever. You know, I love my house. I live on a big ass farm, so I got no problem staying home. But you know, I imagine once we start getting live events, you know, then they're really going to need more producers and stuff. I mean, they got a solid crew there now. So, and I knew, you know, even before the furlough, I hadn't been on the road in weeks. You know. Maybe the furlough happened in April 15th, tax day, as a matter of fact. And like, I hadn't been on the road, I think in 6-7 weeks or something like that because of the virus. And I just knew, I was like, man, they ain't going to pay me to sit at home, but for so long, you know? So. Yeah.
Abalash says, hi Shane, your Raw feud with Hollywood Rock is give us some of the most entertaining backstage segments in WWE history. Do you remember The Rock's backstage reaction when he was told that he was going to lose the feud?
I don't know if I would say he lost the feud. I mean, we only had one match, you know. But no, Rock pushed to put me over. It was Rock's idea to put me over. Rock, I mean, if there might have been some other people that weighed in on it, but there were a lot of people in higher positions that did not want The Rock to lose going into WrestleMania with Steve Austin. But Rock pushed for it. He thought it would be okay. He thought it would, you know, shock the world type thing. And he was trying to elevate me. And so, you know, I owe all of that to The Rock. You know, if he wouldn't push for it, then that win wouldn't happen. As a matter of fact, and I've told this story a bunch of times, I was doing a media day that weekend, some media weekend or whatever, before that Monday Night Raw that we had the match. And I got the phone call, and it was Rock telling me what was going to happen on Monday. But it was a voicemail because I had left my phone in my hotel room. So when I got the voicemail, I didn't believe it was him. I thought somebody was pranking me because I myself said there's no way, because I knew WrestleMania was going to be Rock and Austin. Yeah, that's the path that we were going. I mean, that was obvious to anybody watching the show. Yeah, and I was like, man, there's no way I'm winning this match. You know, it's got to be a joke. And so I didn't say nothing to nobody. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't call home and tell the girl. I didn't tell Matt, Jeff, nobody. I kept that shit to myself because I knew it was a prank. I felt in my heart it was a prank. And so even when I got the TV, on Monday, I didn't say nothing until somebody came up and kind of mentioned to me, he's like, "Hey, it's a big night for you. Congratulations." And I was like, "Oh, this shit might be real. Is this real? Is this really going down?" Wow. And but yeah, that's all Dwayne Johnson just being a massive professional and just a great human being.
So backstage, when it happened, I mean, that's still one of the biggest moments in Raw history, I believe. And so what happened backstage? So after all the pop, all the thunder that happened with that ovation, I don't think I ever knew about this. I knew about what you just said before, but I don't know if anybody ever asked you this. Maybe they have. But what happened backstage after that segment? You and Rock.
The segment of the match.
The match. So there were a few segments throughout the day and then throughout the night, and it led to the match, and you won.
Nothing like crazy that I recall. I know that there was some people that not everybody stays to the end of the show, because especially back then, like I don't know if we were doing SmackDown on a Tuesday or what, but some people just, if there's travel involved after this segment, they take off. But there was some people that stuck around just to see how well I would do. And, so there was a lot of congratulations for me. A lot of people that felt, that this was going to be a really good run for me. Kind of got the rug put out from under me a couple of weeks later, but, that's neither here nor there. Yeah. But it was, just thanking Dwayne for everything, and like, that was it, just in this business, once the show's over, you get ready for the next show. You don't really sit there and kind of, think about it in the moment, years later, you think about it way more than you do when things are going on, so, yeah. But, I was just happy, because I tell people this too, all the pressure for that match was on me, 100%, because if that match would have stunk, he was still going to be The Rock. He was still going to WrestleMania. If that match would have stunk, you'd have never heard from my ass again. Yeah, I would have been gone. So all the pressure was on for me to perform. And
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Ryan is asking, any updates on Roman Reigns returning soon for SmackDown?
No updates for me. That's a personal choice for him and his family. So I imagine he's going to keep that close to the vest until he's ready, and close to the Shield vest. See what I did there? Keep that close to himself until he's ready to make some form of announcement.
Indeed. Jeff is asking, do you feel that WWE ruins your character while working with them?
No.
I don't.
No.
Yeah, I think the Hurricane is. I mean, you've had many incarnations of Shane Helms as a competitor, but I think the Hurricane is probably what you're known for the most. So that would be enhance your character. Reezy was asking, as someone who was backstage at the time, why do you think Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman's current stint didn't work out? Good question.
I don't really know. I don't know, for Eric, I didn't really get to work with him a lot because we were in a couple meetings together, but they were starting to do the split again, where Eric would be on SmackDown, which was on Fox, and I was on the Raw team with Paul. So I really didn't get a chance to work with Eric a lot at all whatsoever. So I don't know. I mean, I can't give any inside information right there, but it just didn't work out, So, and that just happens sometimes. I don't think there was any malicious reason. I don't think there was any grand reason, but it just didn't work out. Paul, I know there's a couple shows with Paul, which I thought were really good. And I just think that 3 hour on Monday night, I think that's just, that's an incredible task. No other TV show that is storyline driven. Yeah. Stays on for 3 hours.
Live.
52 weeks a year live. It's such a daunting task. People have no idea. Yeah. Just absolutely. Sometimes, I would only have one segment, and like that would drive you crazy. Just imagine being the guy behind every damn segment. The whole show, like I say, 3 hours live, and then you got to throw in pay-per-views. You might have to coordinate with SmackDown, which might throw some of your plans off. You always got personnel problems because this person gets hurt, this person's get the flu. There's a million things that go on that stress you out in that job. So
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that nobody's going to be perfect. There were shows that I thought were really great, and then you get online and there are fans complaining about this, that, and the other. And you're like, man, I don't know why they complain about that. It's such a small thing, but it happens, and that's their right. You can't tell them to, not voice their opinion. But
now, do y'all take the social media influence? Like, as a follow up on that, when you see the social media pattern of saying this particular thing wasn't good and it really fell flat from a majority standpoint, do y'all take that in consideration when y'all are writing for the upcoming weeks?
I mean, I think you should take all information into consideration, but you also have to consider how big of our audience is that. Is that a big part of our audience or only a small? Just because they're very vocal on Twitter, that doesn't mean at all that they're actually watching the show. It doesn't mean that they're buying tickets. It doesn't mean that they're buying pay-per-views. It doesn't mean that they're buying merchandise. So you got to be careful about listening to just one portion of the audience, especially a portion that tends to be overwhelmingly negative about everything. And not even just wrestling. If you're on Twitter whatsoever, you understand. It's just a shit. I keep saying the S word. I apologize. It's just, it's hot trash.
It's a crap
every single
storm.
day. Yeah. Every single day it's just flaming garbage,
Yes.
So you just got to be careful about taking too much of that to heart. There was a picture today. It was a great picture from the Mae Young Classic. And I was just like, it was Hunter and all of these, this huge array of women. So many of them. There's like 30 women. There's Stephanie's in there. And I just I said, I'll choke slam everybody in that picture. Obviously, look at you. Obviously joking, right? You wouldn't believe how many people thought I was serious. And I was just like, how? Like, how are these? Like, I wish there was some kind of IQ test.
Oh my God.
To actually get on Twitter. I think that would solve a lot of problems. But
wow.
But it's not all negative. The whole entirety or totality of social media isn't negative, but it does seem like just like in regular news that comes on your television, it's the bad news that captures everybody's attention. It's never the good news. So,
as Eric Bischoff would say, controversy creates cash. So
for at least for a short while. Yes, after a while, though, too much controversy and people lose interest, and that's why I think social media, to a degree, is hurting pro wrestling, because pro wrestling is all about hype. Pro wrestling is all about promotion. When all you hear is just negative, negative, negative. If I was a newer fan coming in and say I joined Twitter just to kind of see what the hype is, and I read all of this just negative stuff all of the time, I could see that pushing people away.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. All right, we got about 2 more minutes, so let's just do a lightning round. Good follow-up question. What was Vince McMahon's whole outlook to COVID-19?
Oh, I was at home. Once it started happening, I was at home. When the furlough happened, I've texted him since then. And I just think Vince handles everything. Vince is a guy that moves forward. He don't look back. His train, his car only has one. It has no reverse, is what I'm saying. And so he's just going to try. You got to prepare for life after this too. And so that's a big part of it. You try to prepare for bad things in life, but you also got to prepare for after that bad part is over. And he's just looking ahead, and I don't think there's a right or wrong way to handle any of this mess. So
yes, indeed, absolutely. All right, so we got time for one more question, y'all. Special shout outs. I will do a couple of shout outs. Francisco saying, I want to thank you and wish you the best in any future endeavors.
Okay. Did they just fire me?
I guess so. I really wish that you had a world title run, Shane. I think that you would have done really well. All right, last question. I want to give you a good one.
Hit me with one of them goods.
Yeah, this is a good one. There's some good ones. All right, we'll do this one. Why ratings for Raw and SmackDown are falling week after week, and what's the opinion about WWE firing Paul Heyman as executive? Oh, you already talked about the Paul Heyman part, so just we'll do half of the time with the first question, and then one more after that.
What is the question?
Why ratings for Raw and SmackDown are falling week after week?
Why they're falling? Because less people are watching.
Indeed.
I just think without an audience, you're losing a big part of the magic of pro wrestling.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard to watch for me, and I love it as much as anybody has ever loved pro wrestling in the history of the world. And it's hard for me to watch, and I mean, they lost a lot of star power. It's really a odd time, not like I have my finger on the pulse by saying it's a odd time. Obviously everybody knows that, but yeah, it's an odd time.
It is. All right, last question. You share an incredible Royal Rumble moment with Triple H and Austin. Who was the mastermind behind it, and what did both of them tell you after it was all said and done?
That was 100% my idea, and they loved it.
Oh, nice.
It was the bushwhacker spot. I was just going to go in and get thrown out right away. So I had the idea that I try to, that if they could bump each other, could I come in and try to do the double choke slam or whatever? And the thing was, I had to pitch the idea 4 different times because I was so new to the company. Yeah. I didn't just want to go to the biggest stars in the company and go, hey, I got this idea. Why just yank y'all both up by your neck? Right. You got to be careful how you present an idea like that. Yeah. And so I had known Kurt Angle because I had an amateur wrestling background as well. So me and Kurt would kind of talk a little bit. I knew him more. Well, I knew him more better than I knew Austin Hunter. And so I went and told Kurt the idea in the hopes that he would catch the drift and go pitch the idea for me.
Yeah.
But Kurt goes, that's a great idea. Go tell Paul. And I'm like, damn it. But no, I went and told Steve first. And so I went to Steve and, and me and Steve are great friends now, but like I said, I didn't know him that well at the time. And I pitched the idea to him. He goes, man, I love it. He goes, go run it by Pat. Pat Patterson was the booker of the Rumble. So I'm like, damn it. Now, so I got to go for a 3rd time to go to Pat Patterson and pitch the idea to him. And Pat just popped huge. And Pat was very helpful with the Hurricane character anyway. He goes, I love it. Go tell Paul. And I'm like, damn.
Oh, man.
I got to go run this. So I had to run it 4 times, but everybody was very receptive to it. And to this day, most people can't remember who won that Rumble, but they remember me trying to choke slam Austin and Triple H. So, creating moments like that was very important for me.
That's awesome. Shane, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm glad we were able to do this. I hope you had a good time. I sure did, man. It was a fun ride, man. It's great to have you on the show tonight.
Yeah, man, my pleasure, man. I'm glad it worked out. Sorry I couldn't remember the phone call. I still don't remember the phone call.
Hey, we don't know what GT. We don't know who the. We don't know who the originator of GTV is. We don't know who the hacker is, and we don't. I
wish you could have seen my face when I looked at my phone and saw that number. I'm like, damn, we did talk.
Yeah, man. I had to make sure, man. I had to make sure I keep a paper trail. So.
That's what you got to do. That's why I do all my business on text and emails because I will forget what I say.
Yeah.
So
good stuff, man. I appreciate you and Shane Helms at Shane Helms.com, as you see right there. Go check that out, and also go check out Hurricane Highway to Helms podcast, and all of your. I'm sure all of his information will be on that that was it called Twitter handle right there. So. Good stuff, man. Appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, Shane Helms. That was great stuff. All right, everybody. This is every week, and we got a really cool one next week, too. I hope you all everybody had a good time tonight on UnSKripted with Chris Featherstone. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. Always remember, this is UnSKripted with Chris Featherstone. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.